morning, folks. Today is the day. We are gonna get back in the beaver pond there and try and get some of those big timbers down so that we can start doing our timber framing for the sauna. All right, I think we're all packed up, ready for a day down on the pond cutting trees. Let's get this show on the road. So we layered up real good this morning because I have a feeling we're going to be stripping down layers and then putting layers back on all day. I don't want to get too sweaty out here because you get wet and you get cold. Whew. There's enough work just getting in here. Okay, I think we're about set up down here. I need 8" by 8" timbers for the sauna, but there are a few trees like this that I need to get out of the way so we don't get hung up when I try and bring down some of the bigger ones in the back. So I'm going to take this guy first, and we're going to do some measurements to see where we're at. First thing we'll do is just give this one the girth test and see how many inches around she is. 2'5" down there. Well, 2'3" up here. So if we say 29 inches divided by pi, that's about a 9" in diameter tree. So once we start shaving that down, you're not going to get a 8 by 8 post out of that, but we may get a 6 by 6 or something like that out of it. So that'd be okay. The other thing I want to know is about approximately how tall this tree is, and what I really want to know is where is it going to fall? Where's the top of it going to land? So a good way to check how tall the tree is to use a meter stick. And what you want to do is hold that meter stick to your eye and hold your arm out. And my arm goes to about 31 inches. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that at 31 inches and I'm going to walk out from the tree. And I'm going to put the 31-inch mark at the base of the tree. And when the top of that yardstick at arm's length reaches the top of the tree, I know I've got about how far that tree is going to land, or about where it's going to end up. So then I can take my tape measure again and I can measure back if I really want to know how tall that tree is. In my case, I really just want to know where it's going to land. So let's do that quickly. We'll measure how tall this tree is, or about where it's going to land out there. So right about there. So like I say, I don't need to know the exact I don't need to know the exact distance, but I'll just pace that back approximately and see how many yards that'll be. So yeah, so it looks like our tree is about 57 feet tall, 19 yards paced off from there, so just about a 60-foot tree. Now, I've wanted to try out that double bit axe that I put together in the fall. So this is a smaller tree. Some of the other ones are quite a bit bigger around. I'll be using the chainsaw for those, obviously, but I'm going to give this one a try with the axe and see if I can't take it down that way just for fun, because I wanted to try out that axe. So the first one will be old school. Let's get at it. That's a workout. So the majority of the logs that I need for the sauna are between 6 and 10 feet. So I cut these all to 12 feet. And now the question is going to be, can I even get these ones out of here by myself? And I'm dreading the answer. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, they're dry, so they're quite a bit lighter than they would be if they were fresh. Okay. So I can lift it at that size. Now, whether I'm going to be able to lift one twice that dimension, I don't know. We'll see. The snowmobile is about, I don't know, maybe 80 yards away on the pond there, and I don't think I can get it much closer than that. So we need to be able to move these 80 yards that way through down trees and under snow and through beaver trails and all sorts of bramble and brush that's been sitting here for 50 years, 100 years maybe, without, you know, too much trouble. So let's try and get a couple of these out and just see how well we do with that, because they got to get out of here anyway. And that'll be our test to see whether or not it's even worth trying to get these big guys down today. I tried strapping one of these guys up and pulling it out by hand. That's not happening. The terrain in here is crazy. I mean, we've just had old dead trees falling down in here. You know, this one is, what did I say, 50 some years old. It's far from the biggest one back here. So yeah, we've just had big trees falling down back here for 50 years and longer, and there are beaver trails to go through, and so there's just tree on top of tree on top of tree. And so the terrain is crazy. There's no way you're getting a quad from there to here. You can maybe see my snowmobile just over my shoulder here. You know, 80 yards out, not that far. But 80 yards of this kind of terrain is just absolutely insane. I was hoping I'd be able to maybe even get the komatik back here, strap up a log, drag it out, drop it off, you know, by hand, pulling it, but they're just too heavy and the terrain is just too gnarly. I don't know how I'm going to get them out of here if I cut them down. It's just this 80 yards that I got to get past, and I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how I'm going to do it other than the helicopter. So it's time for a coffee anyway. So we'll stop and have a coffee. Oh. Okay folks, well my batteries are all pretty much dead, so I'm going to have to pretty much wrap it up here. I'm going to eat this lunch. I am going to pack up. I'm going to try and get some of those logs out onto the beaver pond, the smaller ones maybe, just to see. I would love to test the komatik, just to see if it was going to work, if I could have gotten the logs to it. As far as our posts go, we're going to have to find some trees closer to home. So that means poplar. Poplar aspen, which make a fine, I mean they're good timber framing trees so long as you get them fresh and they're not rotten. So we're gonna have to find some closer to the yard that we can pull out. So that'll be the next video, I guess, is trying to find some trees closer to home where we can pull them out and get those out so that we can start milling up our posts and then start doing some timber framing joinery. So thanks for joining us, and we shall see you on the next one.